Medicare really is confusing. I mean, anyone who says it isn't clearly has never tried to figure it out. For example, in most areas of the country, there are usually 50 to 75 different Medicare plan options. Then you add in all the tricky government rules, the penalties, and then this alphabet soup of letters, parts A, B, C, and D, and plans F and G, and MAPD plans, and so on. And you get to a point where very intelligent people who are on the verge of retirement start getting frustrated because it's so complex. And so they cross their fingers, choose a plan based upon a friend's or someone else's recommendation, and hope it all works out. The problem we see with this, though, is that 1 or 2 years later, or maybe even 5 years down the road, a health issue comes up, and that's when they realize they made a huge mistake when they first enrolled into Medicare. Now, the sad part is, it's usually too late by then. They can't do anything about it. Now, when you first go on Medicare, there's no lack of information. I mean, literally, there are advertisements everywhere. Your mailbox gets filled up regularly, and you have agents calling you constantly. Now, some people may be able to figure Medicare out that way, but most people don't want to. They're not interested in spending weeks or months of their life trying to figure out a complicated government system all by themselves. Well, the good news is you don't have to. There's a much better way.
And that's why we're here today. Enlightnu is the nation's #1 Medicare educational workshop. There's no organization in the country that has educated as many people as thoroughly and as simply as Marvin Music. Through the very interactive workshop you're about to enjoy, he'll make Medicare seem easy. Now, you're going to be hearing from the best of the best, and he's educated tens of thousands of people about how they can get the best Medicare coverage available. By the time you walk out of here, everything's going to fit. You'll know exactly what you need to do and when you need to do it. You'll understand how and when to enroll, what plans you should consider, and what plans you should avoid. He'll explain all the penalties and tricky rules you need to be aware of. Bottom line, a little over 2 hours from now, Medicare will finally make sense. You won't be confused, you won't make a Medicare mistake, you'll be confident and have clarity. So sit back and enjoy, and let's get started.
Well, it is great to have you with us today. My name is Marvin Music, and on behalf of the team of Enlightnu, we want to welcome you to the Mastering Medicare Workshop. If you're joining with us online today through MedicareSchool.com website, a hearty welcome to you as well. We're here today because of laws and legislation that were originally passed back in 1965. Now, in 1965, I was 4 years old. Most of you were 9 or 10 or less. And what President Lyndon Johnson and the U.S. Congress was doing with health care benefits for the retired was the least of your concerns. Now, your grandparents were certainly paying attention, but you could not have cared less. But time flies, does it not? And things change rather quickly. And we fast forward the clock from 1965 to today, 55 years ago, and that which was the least of your concerns then has become a large concern, especially as your 65th birthday is approaching. And you're going to have to make some kind of decision about your Medicare coverage. Now, in the last 55 years, Medicare has evolved into the largest health insurance plan in America. There are now well over 70 million people that are eligible for Medicare benefits, and as you probably know, that list grows rapidly every day. They tell us now that on the average, 11,000 people are turning 65 every day. And so not only has Medicare become the largest health insurance plan, but because of all those people, it's become the most complicated one as well. And if you've been reading and studying and asking questions and trying to figure this Medicare system out, you probably would agree with that statement. And that's exactly why our company holds these workshops. We specialize in retirement planning, and so we understand the confusion surrounding Medicare. We see it in our offices every day. We know the frustration that some people will experience as they try to figure this Medicare system out all alone. And we also know that most of you have questions about your specific situation, and sometimes it can be very difficult to get a straight and accurate answer. And we also know that your mailbox is getting a lot of attention right now. Companies that are mailing you lots of literature trying to convince you that they have this perfect Medicare plan for you. Now, when you read their literature, according to them, all you need to do is pick up the phone and call 1-800-DIAL-AN-AGENT, and all your Medicare worries will go away. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not exactly true. You see, there's not one company that has one plan that's going to be a perfect fit for everyone. Such a company or plan does not exist. That's not reality. You see, one size does not fit all in the Medicare business. But there is something that is true, and that's this. You are going to have to make a decision about your Medicare coverage. And I think by now you understand that's a pretty important decision. I would tell you that it's a critical decision, because the choice that you make about your Medicare coverage is going to have consequences for you, both physically as well as financially. Now, I've had the privilege to educate well over 75,000 people in workshops just like this all over the country. And every time I do a workshop, my objective is the same, and that is I want to help you today. I want to educate you and equip you so that after today, you will have a better understanding of how Medicare works, what it costs, what it covers, what it doesn't cover. You'll see today that Medicare is very good insurance, but it does not cover everything. Today, I'm going to show you how to enroll into Medicare, when to enroll into Medicare, and when not to enroll into Medicare. Some of you will go away today with confidence knowing that you don't have to do anything with Medicare, at least not yet. All right, so here are my two goals today. Number one, when we're done here in a couple hours, I hope that you will feel within your heart that this is time well spent. I personally believe this will not be a waste of your time, and I hope you feel the same way at the end. My second objective today is this. What we want to do is we want to help you to navigate through what is often called, and I really think accurately called, the Medicare maze. And Medicare does seem like a maze a few times because you come to a place where you're going to have to make a decision, and you want to make the right decision. So we're going to help you to successfully navigate through that Medicare maze so that whenever you go on Medicare, and again, whenever that is, you'll know that you have made the right choice for your specific situation. All right? So those are my objectives today. Let me show you how we're going to accomplish those. You have a packet of material before you. Let's go through that real quickly. There's a blue one, and there's a green one, and there's a pink one. And you're going to notice that these are all stapled together. Now, this is going to shock you, but we actually call these the stapled sheets, okay? We're brilliant. And so as we go through the materials today, when I say go to the stapled sheets, now you know what I'm talking about. All very important information, and we're going to go through them in this particular order. And then I want to draw your attention to the document that is white. And this particular document is where we're going to spend most of our time today. So I want everyone to take this out of your packet and lay it in a position where it's landscape. Okay, landscape. And what does it say in the bottom right-hand corner when you lay it landscape? Come on, what's it say? Medicare grid, exactly right. This is a Medicare grid. We actually have designed this grid for our workshops. You all know that Medicare has 4 moving parts. Those are A, B, C, and D. And really to understand Medicare well, you need to understand A, B, C, and D. So that's what we're going to do today. And each of these vertical columns represents a part of Medicare. So we're going to spend a lot of time on the grid. All right, now, I'm not going to start on the grid, so what I want you to do is open the grid. So when I say open the grid, you're going to open it up, and you're going to see that there are some notes pages. Everyone see that. So open the grid. We have notes page 1 and notes page 2. Now, I'm going to begin on notes page 1 today, and I'm going to address the issue of Medicare enrollment. You have to settle when are you going to go on Medicare, how are you going to do that, because there's different times to go on Medicare and there's different processes. So I'm going to teach you through that today, and that is everything that will be on notes page 1. And after I've addressed Medicare enrollment, then we're going to go to the Medicare grid. I'm going to deal with original Medicare first. That's the left 2 columns. And after we've gone through the grid portion, I have a couple of statements about A and a couple of statements about B that obviously they're statements, they're not going to fit on the grid. And so those will be in notes page 2. And so I'll give you those statements about A and B, and then we're going to go back to the grid. The third column would be Advantage plans. Statistically now, half of all people that are going on Medicare are starting with an Advantage plan. So many of you are going to buy Advantage plans. So that's the third column. And after we've done the grid portion, I'll have you open it back to notes page 2, and I'll give you a couple statements about Advantage plans. And then I'll conclude today with the last portion, which are drug plans. I kind of saved the most difficult to the last, but we're going to teach you about prescription drug plans. Everyone has to have some kind of a component of drug coverage in their Medicare plan. So that's the fourth column. And after we've gone to the grid, a couple more statements about that. So you see what I'm going to do. We're going to go back and forth and back and forth. Now, I'll try my best to tell you where you're supposed to be, but if I forget, my son, who's a lot smarter than his dad, put this PowerPoint together for me, and on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you're going to see Medicare grid, notes page 1, 2, or 3, okay? And we will conclude with just a summary on the back of this, which is the notes page 3. Okay, so that's kind of the method to my madness. Now, most of what I'm going to teach you today is in your notes. But occasionally, you're going to see this obnoxious arrow come up on the screen, and it's a reminder to you that I'm getting ready to show you something that's just on the screen only, so you don't have to dig in your notes because it's not there. These are some things that I had him add that I thought would be visuals that would help you to really understand what it is that I'm trying to teach you. Okay, so that's the process today as we go through and teach you about Medicare. Now, lastly, I do want you to know that I am an independent insurance broker. I'm also a fiduciary investment advisor. And all the products and all the services that individuals and couples need as they're preparing for retirement, that's what our firm does. We specialize in retirement planning. It really is our area of expertise. We love doing it. It's a privilege to serve those then in the retirement community. But today, I want you to fully relax because I'm not here to sell you anything. Today's event is officially by Medicare called a Medicare educational event. And what Medicare does with the educational events is they attach some rules to these. I'm aware of the rules, I'm going to keep all the rules. And what that means to me as a presenter of a Medicare educational event, I cannot today and I will not today be company specific, product specific, or price specific. If I start mentioning specific companies or price or products, it looks like I'm trying to push something, trying to sell you something. We're not here to do that at all. Now, by the way, you'll learn plenty without me doing that anyways, totally unnecessary. So what it means to you as someone attending a Medicare educational event, it means that there's no products to buy today. We're not going to try to say anything. We're not going to ask you for an appointment. We're not going to have you sign up for anything. These are designed to be truly and purely informational for you. That's a Medicare educational event. Now, through the years that I've done these, people have asked me, well, Marvin, why do you do them? There's got to be something in it for you. And probably every one of you thought the very same thing. So I'm going to tell you what you thought. I've been at this a while, and I know that most of you are going to want to need some additional assistance beyond today. I know that's going to happen. And so what our hope is that we can gain your trust and your confidence in this workshop so that when you're ready to go on Medicare, again, whenever that is, some of you, you'll call our office tomorrow. Some of you, you're not going to start Medicare for maybe 3, 4, 5 months, maybe 3, 4, 5 years. But our hope is that whenever you go on Medicare, you'll reach out to us and give us the privilege to help you with your Medicare planning. All right, so that's what's in it for us. We hope one day that we can help you. All right, let's get started. Medicare begins here with the Medicare card. Most of you have seen Medicare cards. When Medicare first started in 1965, all the way up until a year and a half ago, Medicare cards would always have a Social Security number on them. And if someone was going to draw benefits off of their work record, it would have been that person's Social Security number. If it would have been someone else's work record they were going to draw their benefits from, it would have been that person's Social Security number. It always had a letter after it that meant something. And that's the system that was used for 53 years. Well, because of all the identity theft and the problems that surround identity theft, Medicare wisely decided to get away from using Social Security numbers for claim numbers. And so today we don't have them. Now we have 11 digits that are totally random. There's some letters and there's some numbers, and these represent your individual personal Medicare claim number. The effective date, of course, means that's when your coverage begins. It's always on the first day of a month. And then Part A and Part B, this card represents what we call original Medicare. Part A is called hospital. Part B is called medical. And so Part A is pretty much everything related to inpatient type services. Part B, pretty much everything related to outpatient type services. And so we're going to address this issue of, first of all, getting a Medicare card. I look forward to having you join me in the next video so that you can continue learning the ins and outs of Medicare. When you're ready for personalized advice for your situation, all you have to do is go to MedicareSchool.com in order to get in touch with us. When you get there, you'll be given the opportunity to schedule a time to talk with an Enlightnu Medicare consultant. This is a completely free service for you and there's no strings attached. We'd love to answer your questions and if it makes sense, help you choose and get enrolled in the best plans for your needs.